My girlfriend told me she was pregnant, and a few days later she said she had an abortion, all as a joke. She destroyed my dreams to becoming a father, and I'm devastated now. I'm 27M and my GF 28F have been together for a past 2 years, my first serious relationship, and she's only person I truly loved. I mean really love. I have 4 siblings and mother. I like my siblings, but I do not love them, and I hate my mother, because she was abusive physically and mentally. I've never been close with them, and I always thought that if you are related by blood, you don't have to love that person. But I knew one thing: if I'll ever have kids, I will love them no matter what. Becoming a dad was my most important dream. Not just a father, but a daddy. A man who will do anything for his family, who will watch when his kids takes their first steps, when they sat their first words. I just wanted to be with them, to look at them, to listen them. But now I don't know, I still want it. My GF told me she definitely have kids in future because it was her dream too, to become a mom, and she's more than happy to have happy family. We like to make pranks with each other, but they were innocent jokes like doorway tape pranks, hiding small plastic spider in the drawer. It all happened in this week. In last week we lived like usual. There was no indication that my girlfriend was planning a prank on me. On Thursday, after I've come back from work, she was sitting concerned on our living room. I immediately noticed it, and I sit next to her and asked what happened. She then pulled out a pregnancy test and told me is pregnant. I couldn't believed it. I was more than happy. I hugged her tight and kissed her. She was still concerned, but I was telling her all excited that we will be a parents, and we both know it's big responsibility, but we will make it together. Then she asked me to not tell it to anyone yet, because she want do it personally. I said it's not a problem, because on Sundays we often had dinner at her parents' house, so I tough she will tell them then. I was happiest man alive. Before I find out about pregnancy, I was looking for an engagement ring. I wanted to ask her to marry me, but I decided to wait, to buy her ring what she deserves, and do it like it should be. I was excited all day and wanted to spend all time with her, but she was not in the mood. I tough it was hormones, so I didn't push her and let her be alone, assuring her that I am there if she needed anything. When we got to bed, she was still a bad mood. I've hugged her, massaging her belly, telling her that I loved her and we would make it. Before we fall asleep, she told me she need to take day off work. I said it's fine, and if she will feel bad to call me, and I will come from work earlier to be with her. The next day I woke up before her, and like usual went to work, leaving her a note that I wrote, "You will be perfect mother." I wanted to assure her that everything would be fine. I texted to her a few times during work, but she didn't respond. I was a little worried, and I've decided to talk with her later. When I've come back from work, she wasn't at home, so I texted to her and called few times, but she didn't respond. I've called to her mother and sister to ask if they knew where she was, but they didn't. I decided to wait a few hours while I tried to call her many times. After 5 hours, she came back. I went to her and hugged her, asking if everything is fine, and she told me, "Yes, now everything is fine." She told me we need to talk, so we sit, and I was waiting what she wanted to say. At the beginning, she said that she was afraid of the pregnancy and knew that she would not be able to be a good mother. I interrupted her by telling her that she would be a great mother, and as an example, I gave her how close she was to her niece, how wonderfully she took care of her, and how much she loved her. She told me this is a different situation, and she don't want be mother yet, and with a little smile she told me, "I had an abortion." I couldn't believed it, so I asked her to say it one more time, and once again she told me she had an abortion. My heart was completely broken when I heard that, and my eyes started to water with tears, and I've asked, "Why? Why did you do it? You said you wanted to be a mother." I fell weak and fall on my knees next to sofa and started crying. I reached out and placed my hand on her stomach, still asking, why? I looked her in the eyes and said, "How could you? How could you kill my baby?" I saw it in her eyes she was regretting it, but she wasn't answering. For last time, I asked, screaming at her, "Why you killed my baby?" Then she started to crying. She was saying it's not like that, and I was all a prank. I've started crying even harder and asked her if she's still pregnant, but she denied. She said she never has been pregnant, and all of it's supposed to be a joke. She hugged me saying she was sorry, and she didn't thought I will react like this. After a few minutes of crying and saying she was sorry, I asked her why she did that. Why is she tough? It will be funny. But she couldn't respond to me. I've pushed her away and walk out saying I need to be alone. She wanted to stop me, but I told her to leave me alone and I walked out. I've took my car and drive off. I've stopped at parking place about 40 kilometers from place where I live. All the time my phone was ringing. I knew it was my GF, but I didn't want to talk with her, so I turned on airplane mode. I unfolded the seat so I could lie on it. For a few hours I was laying on it, and I wasn't thinking about anything, but I fell asleep. I woke up when my alarm started ringing. At first, I wasn't sure where I was, but after a few seconds, I remembered what happened yesterday. I've started to cry again. I was cold because temperature was about 10 degrees Celsius. It was a Saturday, but I had go to work. I calmed down after a few minutes and went to work. One of my friends saw something bothering me and asked what happened, and because I'm not the type of person who shares my problems with others, I've just said I've slept bad and have a bad day. He said, "Shit happens," gave me a smile and walk on his way. After my shift, I drove off my work, and during ride, I cried again. I was always afraid of becoming a burden to someone, so I decided to sleep again in my car. My phone was dead, so I was just laying on car all day, thinking about what happened. Every time I was trying to imagine myself as a dad, I couldn't, and each time I cried. My heart was shattered, and I didn't know what to do. Today, Sunday, I've decided to come back from home and talk with my GF. In next few days, I will give update. I don't what to say to her. I don't even know how I will react when I will see her. But I know one thing. She lost my trust because she knew it was my dream to be a dad, and I don't know if I can forgive her.